Victor, if that's a typical focus, is there any other vulnerabilities companies are exposed to?
In the world of yesteryear, people were really only concerned with the planning and supplier network. I mean, that's sort of where they all landed. However, in the world as it is today, especially with large players and the consolidation that we're seeing with companies like Walmart and let's say Amazon, who want some form of vertical integration where they own more of that supplier network or have control over it at least, and just have other people sort of play into the supplier network, you sort of want to start focusing on some other factors. And some of them really are around transportation and logistics generally. Not only their tracking, which the end consumer always sees, but even something as small as route optimization, which can lead to huge fuel savings and a lot less maintenance if you're not spending as many kilometers on the road. And speaking of maintenance, how about predictive maintenance? There's a lot of data that comes from trucks, trains, planes, and ships that allows you to figure out this kind of thing may happen to my engine, to the manifold, whatever, to some part of my system in the near future that I probably want to look at immediately so that I don't cause my transportation network to come to a halt all of a sudden because there is a breakdown. In transportation logistics, you have a lot of like little things that you can talk through and work through and optimize. Just about any operation, anyone doing business, any large business specifically, you want to have financial resiliency. That's not only a matter of having enough money in the bank that you can pay your suppliers and your staff and all this other stuff, but you want to simulate scenarios, Most companies now use a number of financial instruments and are invested all over the place. So you want to simulate scenarios where some of those bets that you're placing all over either go up or down and you have a cash crunch, or there are other sort of vulnerabilities that show up so that you become more aware of any risk that may be there and that could present itself down the line. Those simulations and having risk awareness really leads generally in financial to forecasting. Forecast, you sort of want to play out many scenarios and figure out, all right, given that we believe this is going to happen, what does our future possibly look like? Then you also in supply chain want to look at just general product complexity. That's usually more on the product management side and understanding whether or not your end user, your clients are using every feature and every part of the product as you might have designed it, and whether you're spending a lot of time fixing or creating things that people are just not using. Mm-hmm. So you want to be measuring those things as well. And lastly, it's just general like business life cycle, organizational maturity stuff. So you want to build in resiliencies into your organization so that you're nimble and that you have a really good focus on customer service and can start doing a version of like predictive understanding of issues. You want to know things before your customers do. If you get a call at 2 a.m, and hopefully you don't, but if there's a 2 a.m. call saying this thing is on fire, you already know. You're like, oh, we're working on it. It'll be fixed in 10 minutes. Thanks. Across those 4 quadrants, let's say, there's a fuller picture of the vulnerabilities that exist in supply chain. And there are ways that AI and NLP can interact in all those and help fix some of those vulnerabilities.